Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video provided by SVSU's online tutoring. My name is Joel, and today we will be continuing on with section 8.1, and the topic for this video will be sketching a parabola. So this little text blurb here has three checkpoints, or I guess not really checkpoints, but tips to be aware of when sketching a parabola. So number one says finding the vertex and the axis of a parabola by completing the square or by using the formula x equals negative b divided by 2a is helpful, and so that's a guaranteed point. Okay, usually whenever you have a parabola you can always find the vertex immediately. The second point is to make sure that you plot the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the x and y intercepts, and then a couple other additional points. And to remember that we have symmetry about the axis, which can reduce the number of points that we need to plot. And then number three is that we want to use the fact that the parabola opens upward if a is greater than 0, and opens downward if a is less than 0 to complete our sketch. So you can think about this as either a checklist or helpful reminders. Either way though, we're going to go through and we're going to be able to sketch our parabola. So I'll use the same, one of the same examples in the last video, which was f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 7. And so with this one we had to complete the square. So in order to write it in standard form, so to do that we do x squared minus 4x plus negative 4 divided by 2 squared minus negative 4 divided by 2 squared plus 7. And so just simplifying everything, we'll get this, and then we want to focus on this part right here, which is factorable. So that's equal to x minus 2 squared plus 3. So here we have our h value and our k value, and so the vertex occurs at 2, 3. Okay, and in order to obtain additional points, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a table. So I'm going to have x right here. I'm going to have my function written in standard form, so y equals x minus 2 squared plus 3. And then I'm going to have the point itself. And it's always helpful to do at least, you want to have a total of at least 5 points. And so from our vertex here, we can go down to and up to. So going down to, we would start at 0, and then we would have 1, 2, and then going up to, we have 3 and 4. So those are the 5 x values that we want to look at. And so when we plug in each of those into our equation, what do we end up with? So when we plug in 0 into our equation, we have 0 minus 2, which is negative 2. So negative 2 squared is 4, and then plus 3 gives us 7. So our point is 0, 7. When we plug in 1, we will get 1 minus 2, which is negative 1, and negative 1 squared is 1, plus 3 gives us 4. So we have 1, 4. And this we've already solved for, right? So because 2 minus 2 is 0, and 0 squared is 0, plus 3, because that's all that remains, gives us 3. And so we still have our vertex here, which is 2, 3. And when we plug in 3, okay, so the thing that we want to keep in mind is that 1 and 3 will, since they're about the axis of symmetry, they'll end up with the same y value. And so we can just work through that algebra real quick. So when we plug in 3 for x, we'll have 3 minus 2, which is 1. 1 squared is also 1, and then plus 3 will give us 4. So our point is 3, comma, 4. And likewise with 0 and 4, those will also have the same y value because they're symmetric. So when we plug in 4 for x, we have 4 minus 2, which is 2. So 2 squared gives us 4, plus 3 is 7. So we have 4, comma, 7. And now what we want to do is that we want to sketch this parabola. So if I draw, it's going to be a crude graph. We have our x-axis and our y-axis. So the first point that I want to plot is my vertex. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So go over 2 and then up 3. And right there is my vertex. And now I want to begin plotting my other 4 points. So I have to go up to at least 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, good. So right here I have, and I'm going to actually color these in a different color because black on black obviously we're not going to see. So orange is the new black. We have 0, comma 7 right there, and then if we go down to our next point, so we go over to 1 and then up 4. And then we've already plotted a vertex, so then we move to 3 and we have that symmetry there, right? And then now I have to go one more tick to get up to 7. And so we plot that point, and now we can draw our line here to show our parabola. So it looks something like that. And so we can see that we have our axis of symmetry about our vertex. And not only that, but since a is positive, so a was equal to 1, which is positive, our parabola opens upward. Okay? So yeah, that's how you go about sketching a parabola. It turns out that we also found out the y-intercept too. So that was just a coincidence, but it certainly helps with sketching the parabola. In this case, we don't actually have any x-intercepts, so always something to be aware of. That's why this little text blip here is more of a guide to sketching a parabola rather than a checklist. Okay, in the next video we will discuss writing the equation of a parabola. So rather than graphing it, we're going to have a graph already and then derive the equation of that parabola. Okay, see you next time.